You're holding a plate in your hand. What's the story behind that?
Well, from my childhood, and I'd say probably around 1965, I would think, I can recall when the travelling families would come and they would camp on the roadside in the old small tents, you know, the tarpaulin tents really, and the round caravans. And they would come to the houses looking for potatoes or milk or whatever you could give them. And like most families, we didn't have a lot to give. So the travelling man would come in, he would sit here in the kitchen with my father, and he would either make a tin bucket or he would offer to make repairs. And I can remember this was known as the turkey plate for Christmas dinner. And obviously it got smashed or broken. I can remember the travelling man sitting here with a tiny little hammer and tacks, and he stapled and repaired this. You can see where the original here and here, these were where the original ones. They're probably a little bit clearer on the back. And I know they're described as willow plates, but I'm not really sure if that is the actual thing. So at the back you can see where he joined it.
And you remember that day?
I remember him sitting here, and I can remember being wet and cold coming in, and I can clearly remember my father giving them whiskey in the tea. And then going back, and he would sit, and people were very welcoming then to the travellers because they had a role. They came and they did repairs. They used to come to the primary school up here, the old national school that I now live in, and they used to come there to clean out the toilets, the outdoor toilets. But they were very welcome because they had a role. Nobody saw them as a threat or a bother. They would come and they might spend 4 or 5 weeks camping at the top of the road there, in along where the gorse are now, what we would call whins. They would camp there in, I suppose now when I look back, in very poor conditions, and the children always came to school for the few weeks. They came to the national school, and we were so excited to have all these children coming, and with their different, and I suppose they did seem different to us because I suppose they dressed different, and I suppose they spoke a different accent really, and they had been in so many exciting places. They were always moving on, but we thought it was the best news ever that they came to school. So that's really the history of this plate, known as the turkey plate in our house.